everybody, and welcome to HYSYP Pants, where cars are everything and motoring journalism is now slightly delivered differently to you. Because we have decided to stop with the nonsense, to stop dragging the murderous director around the rooms of our studio. We have decided to make this a proper car show. So, from now on, I will be doing reviews, so will the murderous director and Johnny, and everyone will be happy. That means more videos for you more of the time, because I have to gather them here into my studio. So, just pretend you never saw this bit, and let the review roll on. Today we are reviewing the best of the best of the best of the best of the best. Today we have the all-new Range Rover Sport. Now, the last Range Rover Sport was a very good car, but it wasn't exactly sporty. This episode we're going to see if it's a proper Range Rover and a proper Sport. Now, as you can see, this is obviously a Range Rover, but it's certainly more streamlined. As you can see, we have these lines here that go all the way to the back of the car. You can see dynamic looking wing mirrors. Coming to the back, we see these lovely looking alloys. Unfortunately, this one's slightly scratched. And coming around to the back, looks very good, very streamlined. As you can see, that light looks very streamlined. Look at this here, it's not all sport, it's also Range Rover and SUV, which is a good thing because this is an SUV. So obviously, it looks sporty, but we need to see if it actually is sporty. For starters, this car has 375 kilowatts, or the equivalent to 503 horsepower. This car also has 625 Newton meters of torque, which is hooked up to an 8-speed auto. That is roughly the same sort of power output as the last one, but remember, this car is half a ton lighter. This car has been made of aluminium, and they have also changed the suspension on the Range Rover. As you can see here, you see 22-inch wheels, and you can also see the sporty Brembo brakes, which you don't get on a standard one. Now, remember when I said it was half a ton lighter? After all the facts and figures and the lightness, this car will get from 0 to 100 kilometers an hour in 5.3 seconds. That's supercar territory. That's around the same sort of speed as DB9s were doing a couple of years ago. Did I forget to mention the top speed of this car is 245 kilometers an hour? That's impressive. Some of you may know that this car is used by rock stars, queens, and many other people who are very famous. And you can see why, because this interior is so refined and such a nice place to be. As you can see here, lovely leather seats, lots of quality there. You see the dashboard, that is one amazing dashboard, and you may recognise this automatic transmission. That is the same sort of automatic transmission you can find in a Jaguar F-Type. The gear lever isn't the only thing that this car has in common with the F-Type. It also has the exact same engine as the F-Type, and just listen to it. Seats in this car is bone leather. Time to talk about the legroom and headroom. As you can see, there is miles of legroom down here, and I have plenty of headroom above my head. Unfortunately, the middle seat isn't as good for legroom and headroom, but still relatively comfortable. Now, unfortunately, I can't drive the Range Rover, so we're going to actually need somebody who can drive. Now, you may have known that I sacked Stephen, but now I've decided to bring him back.
Good to see you again. So I'm back in the driving seat, driving the new Range Rover Sport. This car is very exciting for me to drive because basically it's the size of a Sydney townhouse. Imagine a Sydney townhouse driving at 155 miles an hour and accelerating from 0 to 100 in just over 5 seconds. Let's see how it sounds. So good so far, everything's all electronic, all refined, giving you supreme comfort when you want it and turning it into a sports car at all other times. It does feel a bit lighter than the previous Range Rover. This car comes in a 6-cylinder as well as 8-cylinder. We all know that 8 cylinders sound much better than 6. This is the V8 and supercharged as well. Part of the enjoyment of this car is to drive with no music on and just listen to the sweet soundtrack of the V8. As soon as you put your foot down, it's almost frightening the way this car moves. Being so big, it just feels good. Big engines require lots of fuel, and this is no exception. Once you fill this baby up, you're going to use 13.8 litres per 100 kilometres, or in the old money, 20.4 miles per gallon. Is this a Range Rover or is it a Sport? Do you know what? I have to say I think it's both. I think it's done extremely well. Obviously we know that the whole Sport mark revitalised Range Rover and opened it up to a younger audience. If I've got an old Range Rover Sport, I want to save up my money and I want to buy one of these. This truly has to be one of the best cars driven in the 2000s.
Unfortunately, we couldn't test this car off-road, so let's see if we can find any evidence that it actually can off-road.
If you're not driving around town, you're going a bit four-wheel driving, the terrain response system is much easier to use than it ever has in the past. It's all electronic now. Just a simple push of these buttons here will change exactly how this reacts.
Now Stephen's done his overall verdict of the car, it's time for my overall verdict. This car is a great car in all aspects. Off-road, on-road, just cruising about, or even on the track. So, in my opinion, this is a great car to live with. It's great in all aspects, back seat, front seat, wherever you're sitting in the car. The price for this car is $123,542 to $219,204. Is it worth it? Yes. Please be sure to subscribe to Have You Speed Your Pants if you are watching this. Also comment as well and tell us what you want to see on the show. Until next time, see you later.